So, Peculiar fandom, how we doing after that announcement? If you are in the Miss Peregrine fandom and have no idea what I'm talking about, go to Ransom Riggs' Instagram account. I personally spent a good hour sending it to people and screaming to them about it. I know about as little as everyone else seems to, but whatever it is, I'm fucking ecstatic. Back to today's topic though, major spoilers ahead for all 6 books in Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Bronwyn Bruntley is one of, if not the most underrated character in this entire series, and I will physically fight anyone who does not absolutely adore her, square up. I might be 5'1" and 100 pounds soaking wet, but I will drive an ice skate through your cranium if you say a bad word about my girl. Bronwyn's the group mom friend. We all have one, that one friend who always brings snacks for the rest of the group and tells you not to be an idiot and then bandages you up when you inevitably get hurt by not listening to her. That one. She's generally very kind and compassionate, always believing in saving as many people as she possibly can, and doing things like digging through rubble and taking a tranquilizer dart when she thinks she can save someone. Also, on that second instance, the fact that one of her policies for violence is "you hurt my friends, so now I get to kill you" was a really funny thing to watch coming from the girl who's mainly known for taking care of the small children. She really is a mom friend, huh? Something else that's interesting about her is the relationships we see her have. Her brother Victor is the second ever instance we see of a Peculiar dying, and Jacob's first clue that life on the island isn't as peaceful as Abe had initially promised him. She isn't in the first book very much at all, so when Jacob goes upstairs to meet Victor and is almost immediately greeted with her and later Enoch, we don't know what to expect from her presence in the scene. It's a powerful introduction, too. We don't see her in her element like we do with some of the other more important kids. We see her crying over her brother and begging Enoch to bring him back while he teases her until he realizes she's serious. It showcases that she's a lot more empathetic than most of the Peculiars, and that paired with her being one of the more protective-natured kids points her out as unique in the crowd. Her standout feature is her empathy, it's her compassion. It's nice to see in a group largely composed of those who have varying degrees of a kill-or-be-killed mentality. She's also stated very early on to be one of Emma's best friends, and before you say it, we wholeheartedly believe in Emwyn in this household. However, unlike a lot of the established friendships in this group, we actually get to see this one play out. Woo! It's unfortunately as background as it gets, mostly because for a really long time Emma's too busy being Jacob's girlfriend to have any agency, but we still get to see it! Emma and Bronwyn are seen together pretty much any time Emma isn't with Jacob, and Bronwyn's also there, and it leads to some pretty funny banter with Horace and Enoch later in the series. Gay-lesbian solidarity, anyone? Okay, yeah, I'll stop. She never gets a love interest, and on the contrary, actively voices her lack of interest, which is refreshing in this series where later on pretty much everyone would have a love interest shoved down our throats. Because of this, I always interpreted her as ace, but everyone else I've asked has told me that that's lesbian coding, so ace lesbian Bronwyn, problem solved. Thinking about it, I don't actually know if I'd have preferred lesbian Bronwyn ever being confirmed, surely because of Horace's gay confirmation, but that's an angry rant for Horace's video, not this one. On one hand, I don't want her to have to end up in the same shitty situationship, but on the other, I am here for the sole purpose of making everything gay, so I might just be a little biased in that specific headcanon. Her biggest flaw is really her only flaw, but it definitely compounds itself the more you think about it. Jacob isn't as close with her as he is with Emma nor Enoch, and as stated in Emma's video, the women in these books just aren't given as much depth to them, so unfortunately Bronwyn is so underrated because of how little she has to her. She's definitely one of the more important characters. I'd consider all these kids important, but the A Map of Days gang seem to be comprised of the top 5, and Bronwyn was one of them. But for how often she goes on adventures and how prevalent she seems to be in the general cast, more often than not, she's just kind of there unless we need someone to argue for not killing the already dead past people so we can make Enoch look like more of a jerk and Bronwyn's compassion look borderline diluted at times. I grew up on My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, so I am precisely the wrong audience for the trope of compassion weakening the group overall, and they also pretty regularly call Bronwyn stupid, which is another overdone trope when paired with her super strength. All in all, I just want a little more depth to her, you know? Something that isn't just trying to make me pity her. In the movie, Bronwyn's played by Pixie Davies, and she is tiny and adorable and does not know when to shut up, and it's funny. I do love Tiny Win, but in doing that, you kind of strip her of one of the two things she's got going for her character-wise. She can't be the mom friend when she's itty-bitty, so Olive automatically assumes that role, I guess. As with anyone who's not Jacob, Emma, or Enoch exclusively before Baron shows up, she barely does anything, and she's not even in the scene with Victor, only mentioned beforehand when Fiona tries to stop Enoch by telling him she doesn't like it. I'll touch on why I love that scene in the book and hate it in the movie in Enoch's video, but other than that, the only notable instance I can think of with her is when she's talking about Abe and his kids at dinner and Emma storms off. That's literally it. The more I talk about these kids' movie counterparts, the more character they lose. At least they're cute when they're so tiny, I guess. I love Bronwyn so much, I need to draw her more. She, like a lot of the girls here, deserved so much more than she got, but every scene she was in, she was fantastic. But who knows, Ransom's working on something new and something big, evidently, and if this is by some miracle return to this universe, maybe we can learn a little more about her. On that note, I shall return after my birthday with the sole reason these are limited to as close to 5 minutes as I can get them, because once I start up about Enoch, I don't stop. See ya!